also involves critical thinking, research skills, etc. Yeah, that's true. Abuya Bernard is saying it communicates complex ideas clearly. Yeah, no answer is wrong. Basically, we have known what academic writing is. But the major thing is not knowing what academic writing is, or not knowing the various styles that are entailed in academic writing. But what matters is, what do you need to be an academic writer? How can you go about academic writing? So today I'll just take you about the main aspect when it comes to academic writing, or when it comes to anything to entail academic writing. Then from there after, I'll take you about a few citation and formatting styles that are involved in academic writing. Then we'll be just good to go. So you'll just follow with me. So the main thing when it comes to academic writing is critical skills. We have critical writing, we have critical thinking. You have to think behind the box. What am I needed to do? How am I supposed to do it? So basically, what is critical writing? So critical, in this session today, we are going to learn what critical writing is and what it involves, the difference between descriptive writing and critical writing, and when each should be used, and how to express an academic voice in your writing. So the reason as to why I'm taking you through critical writing is because when you are in a position to write critically, writing a descriptive paper is not an issue. When you've understood how to write and think critically, doing an APA paper, doing an MLA paper, doing an Harvard paper, doing a Chicago paper, doing an Oscola paper, and any other writing format will not be an issue because you've mastered the basics, you've mastered the key tenet which entails academic writing and its all aspects. So, so what is critical writing? If you get to hear the word critical, because in writing we have both critical thinking and writing. For you to write critically, you have to be thinking critically. So go with me. Critical writing entails applying your critical thinking skills in the writing process. What does that mean? What I mean is, for you to write critically, you have to think critically. That is step number one. This involves reading several sources in a critical way, establishing comparisons and relations between different authors' ideas. The thing is, uh, someone can tell you writing kuna APA, kuna MLA. I understand that those people have come into the sessions knowing that kuna APA, kuna MLA, kuna Harvard, kuna Chicago. But you can know all these things. But the question is, before you get to format a paper, what do you need in writing? Where will you get the information? Where will you get whatever you are needed to write on? Utaipata wapi? That is the big question that you need to have. So for you to get to that point, you have to have the critical thinking ability, which will help you into reading several sources in a critical way. Like, for example, let's say you have been told to write an essay about the benefits of exercise to human health. Yeah, where will you get the information to write? You have to get these information from websites, from articles, from other people's ideas. And how are you going to use someone's idea to make it look like, yes, I borrowed it from this point, but whatever I'm trying to do, I'm doing it with an upright mind and I'm getting to reach at this point. Another thing is, critical writing requires you to interpret and evaluate evidence rather than simply summarize it. That is what I was saying. Like, for example, if you are told, if you've been given an article which talks about benefits of exercise to human health. How are you going to synchronize whatever you are reading into these evidences and make them look like whatever I'm doing, I'm so much aware and I'm so much okay to know that this is what I'm supposed to write and this is what I'm supposed to omit. Because sometimes when you're doing writing, you get to realize that you have a lot of, like, for example, for if there is anyone who has ever done research in campus or who has ever done academic writing or any form of writing, sometimes you get to Google Scholar or Science Direct, or you get to ProQuest to look for articles or sources to use while writing your paper. And then you realize that you get more than enough. And if you cannot think critically and bring in the aspect of critical writing, then you can find yourself in a situation that you don't know what to pick and want to leave. So this brings us into another thing. In critical writing involves when you do the interpretation and the evaluation, you show your own voice. This is not simply an opinion, but rather an academic assessment and careful judgment of the information provided. If you've been given an information that write an essay, write a report, write this and that on this topic, how are you going to make it look like it is an authentic work, that it is you who have done it? Yeah. I think we are clear. So here we are going to talk about two things. We are going to talk about a descriptive writing and a critical writing. What is a descriptive writing and what is a critical writing? When should you use them and when? Like, descriptive state what happened. When you are doing descriptive writing, you are like someone who is doing HAG, which is history and government in high school. You are like, Adolf Hitler did that, Adolf Hitler did this. You are like, Kwame Nkrumah did that, Kwame Nkrumah did this. But when it comes to now critical writing, is you identify the significance. Yes, that happened. What is its significance? If you are told to write a paragraph, how are you going to coin your paragraph around whatever happened so that it outlines the significance? So in descriptive writing, the data tries to show that incidents or new cases, for instance, if you are doing descriptive writing, you would say something like, the data shows that the incidents, in bracket, new cases of asthma rates in children under 15 years old increased rapidly from 1977, peaking in 1993, and then declining, though rates still remain significantly higher than pre-1976 level. That is what happened. Whatever happened was there were some rates of asthma rates. There were some rates of asthma in children under the age of 15 increasing within a given time, then peaking within a given time, then again declining, though the rates were, you get it. But when you're doing critical writing, you are going to do the same writing using the information we've used to do the descriptive writing by saying the trend from 1977 until 1993 of a rapid rise in rates of asthma diagnosis in children under 15 years suggests that one of the causal factors was particularly prevalent during this time, but has since declined in importance or effect. I hope you guys are able to clearly understand that descriptive is just trying to show us this is what happened. But now, in critical writing, we are being shown what happened, but there is a significance of it. Like the trend between 1977 to 1993, there was a rapid rise of asthma diagnosis in children under 15 years. And this is of the causing factors was particularly prevalent during this time, but has since declined in importance and effect. Like, yeah, the main factors was whatever has been capped. But again, these has declined in importance and in effect. So you guys are able to clearly see that whatever is being described is different from whatever is being critically written, unless there is anyone with a questions that far. Kuna swali? Okay. If there is no question, let me continue. But if there is any question, just post them there, then I'll tackle them. So the next thing is, so an example of descriptive and critical writing, you can see that whatever the importance has been highlighted in yellow, that the far as the rate of asthma diagnosis is concerned between 1977 and 1993 has suggested that the causal factor was particularly prevalent during the time that is between 1977 and 1993. But we realize that there is a decline, there is a dropping trend. That is, whatever was said when we were doing the descriptive writing by the guy who was saying that though rates still remain significantly higher, okay, sorry, the guy is saying that the data shows that incidence or new cases of asthma rates in children under 15 years old increased rapidly from 1977, peaking in 1993 and then declining, meaning between 1977 to 1993, there was that rapid rise, or there was that inclining trend when it comes to the rate of children under 15 years. And then now, though the rate still remains significantly higher than pre-1976 level. So if you come to realize that whatever we are doing critically now, we are able to highlight the significance from where it is highlighted from suggest up to the effect, the importance or effect. I guess we are clear. So another thing is descriptive writing explains theory, where critical writing shows relevance. So we are able to realize that the first thing is descriptive tends to state what happened, where critical writing identifies the significance of what happened. Another thing is under descriptive writing, it tends to explain theory, and under critical writing, it shows relevance. Like for example, under descriptive writing, someone would say, Carl Rogers Carl Rogers' theory of a person-centered approach focuses on the freedom of the individual to determine what values should be used to measure successful personal outcomes or benefit. But when it comes to critical writing, Carl Rogers' theory of a person-centered approach is particularly suitable for social workers wanting to work with a client group with diverse needs because it allows the client to determine what values should be used to measure successful outcomes rather than those externally determined by, for example, the service, state, or dominant culture in the society. Like, for example, another thing is while you're doing descriptive writing, you're doing more of definition of whatever is broad. Like for example, if you tend to look at whatever the descriptive guy has done with the Carl Rogers theory of a person-centered approach, is he he or she is trying to tell us what basically it entails. But now, when it comes to critical writing, you're supposed to show that what does the theory state? Then, after you've realized what the theory states, what is its relevance or significance, or what exactly it is all about, and how can it be used? Or you have to show the reader that whatever you are saying about a certain theory is relevant to whatever you are writing in this, and that way. The other thing is like this is just an explanation or a rather clear way or succinct way to show you that this is what descriptive writing entails, and when it comes to explaining theory, and critical writing when it comes to showing relevance. Like if you look at the highlights is the approach is particularly suitable for social workers wanting to work with a client group with diverse needs, meaning we've been able to show its relevance and where it is suitable or its suitability when it comes to who social workers. And now you come to tell us what the theory is all about. The theory allows the client to determine what values should be used to measure successful outcome rather than those externally determined by, for example, the service state or dominant culture in the society. Meaning the guy has shown us the suitability of the theory, and he or she is giving us the other side of the coin with the theory that even though this theory is suitable in this way, uh, it is more of suitable for doing this and that, and he is giving us the contrary side of it. It is more suitable because it helps us with the it helps the social workers in doing whatever they have to do rather than doing this and that and that. I guess that is clear enough. Another thing is descriptive writing notes methods, where critical writing indicates appropriateness. Like, for example, look at this paragraph. In addition to competency-based questions, the candidates were asked to complete a tray exercise in an in-tray complete an in-tray exercise which required them to allocate different priority levels to tasks as method to measure their likely performance in the actual job. But then when now you come to critical writing, this has just give us the method. It has just outlined the method, whatever they were needed to do and for what reason. And now when now you come to critical writing, you realize that in addition to competency-based questions, candidates were asked to complete an in-tray task prioritization exercise. This is considered a more effective way to measure likely performance in the actual role, as the majority of the job would involve similar tasks with little interaction with customers and therefore less requirement for highly developed communication skills. I guess you guys are able to understand. The other guy just shows us this is what the students were needed to do in this method. But now when it comes to critical writing, it goes further. It has told us what these guys were needed to do in addition. But now it goes further to explain to us that whatever they were needed to do is appropriate in this and that way, as the essay shows. So let us grab some differences between descriptive writing and critical writing based on Cottrell 2019. When it comes to descriptive writing, it states what happened, as we had said. The other one identifies the significance of what happened. When it comes to descriptive writing, it states what something is like. Like it just gives us a definition of what something is like. But when it comes to critical writing, it evaluates what the strengths and weaknesses, the merits and the drawbacks, the pros and the cons of whatever is underlying. Another thing is descriptive writing gives the story so far. This is what happened, this is what it is, and that's all. However, when it comes to critical writing, you have to weigh one piece of information against another. If this is what has been given, what about this other one? Like, for example, if Emmanuel says this, what about somebody else? Or what about Jane or somebody else? What's so and so saying about the same thing? So you have to have that critical thinking ability to read through the available sources to understand that if John 2025 says this about HIV and AIDS, James 2029 says this, for instance. Another thing is descriptive writing outlines the order in which things happened. I came, got into the house, drank water, went out, had dinner. That's all. However, when it comes to critical writing, it has to draw reasoned judgment. Yes, this is what happened. Why? How? When? Like you have to give more details within a reasoned judgment. Another thing is descriptive writing instructs how to do something. Like we said, it just gives a method. If you want to if you want to hydrate your body, you have to drink 8 glasses of water. That's it. What about critical? It has to argue a case according to the evidence. If you have to hydrate your body, you have to drink water. Now you have to go into details. What about so and so saying, or what about this article saying about hydration? What about the other one? Like, so now you have to explain. There is that aspect of backing up your assertions or your allegations based on evidences from diverse sources. Another thing is descriptive writing list the main elements of a theory, where the other one clarifies the theory in clarifies why the theory is relevant or how it applies. Like if descriptive writing is telling us that uh, Maslow's Maslow's hierarchical theory is all about this, and that. Now, this other one tells us Maslow's hierarchical theory is all about this, that, and that. And then why or how is it applying to whatever you are trying to postulate or whatever you are trying to opine. Another thing is descriptive writing tries to outline how something works, while the other one indicates why something will work best. Like you want to tell me that a wheelbarrow works this way, but the other one will tell me, you see, even though a wheelbarrow works this way, but I believe a Pro box works best because of this, and that. This is what so and so is saying about Pro box for it to fit to be the best rather than a wheelbarrow. For instance, another thing is descriptive writing notes the method used, while the other one draws out its strengths, weaknesses, and appropriateness. Like if you're doing a descriptive, you'll just tell me whatever the method I use was critical writing, and that's all. And the other one is whatever I use is critical writing, yes. Critical writing enables me to identify the significance of what happened while evaluating its strengths and weaknesses. And then you have to now show me what is the weakness of whatever method that was used and how is it appropriate, because maybe sometimes you will realize, like for example, if you're doing dissertations or theses, sometimes if you're doing literature review, there is that part of you have to bring in theories. You have to bring in theories relevant to your title or topic that you're writing on. So you have to show the strengths of the theory. But again, you have to show the various ways through which different personnel have critiqued the theory. But even though it has been critiqued and it has various strengths, how is it appropriate to whatever you're studying or writing? And then descriptive writing states when something occurred, while the other one identifies why the timing is of importance. Yes, it happened between 1977 to 1996. That is period with descriptive. For critical, why? Or why is that timing important? Another thing is descriptive writing state the different components, while this one weighs up the importance of component parts. Like itakuonyesha the different components of whatever you're trying you are trying to study or you're trying to write about, but the other one will give you the importance of this component parts. That is self-explanatory. When it comes to descriptive writing, it states options. Like this is the option you have, this is the option you have, this is the option you have. You just describe them and you're done. When it comes to critical writing, this gives reasons for selecting each option. Why, what options do you have? A, B, C. What about A? What about B? What about C? Which one have you chosen? Then now you come to why. Another thing is when it comes to descriptive writing, it leads details, where the other one evaluates the relative significance of details. Hii itakupatia the details A, B, C. But now the other one will try to explore or investigate or try to assess what the significance of each detail is to whatever you are trying to assert. Another thing is descriptive writing lists in any order. You can just do your listing from the 10 to 1 or from 9 to 1 to 4. That way, most people always do that to avoid plagiarism or to avoid being caught on AI generatives. But then when it comes to critical writing, there is a structure information in order of importance. Like you have to give a structure. Or if you're doing, for example, if you're doing United Kingdom writing or UK writing, you will be given a structure through which you have to do your work and you have to follow and you have to show out that if you took number 10, why not number 1? Or if you started with this one, why and not the other one? Descriptive writing also states links between items, where critical writing draws out the relevance of the links. Like the other one will just give you this one links with this one, but this one will now give you no, this one links with this one. How, why, and all that. Another thing is descriptive writing gives information or reports findings. Like you just give information or report whatever was found or whatever the outcome of whatever was being done was. But when it comes to critical writing, you have to evaluate information and come to a conclusion that if this was the finding of the study, now this is what I conclude about it. That is when, for example, if you're doing paragraphing, we'll get to paragraphing when the time comes. But if you're doing paragraphing, a good paragraph must ensure that this is the thesis statement or whatever holds water for whatever I want to talk about. And then you have to back it up with evidence. This is what it is. This is what so and so said about it, and this is what so and so says about it. And then now you have to comment on it at the end of whatever you're talking about. This is what I conclude, or this is what stands. Yeah, let us continue. So basically, descriptive writing, both descriptive writing and creative writing have their places in academic text. Not that descriptive writing is bad or critical writing is the best, but you have to know when to use them. Yes, someone is having a question. Please ask your question, Jesse. Are descriptive and critical writing the foundation or main elements we should focus on before taking on any writing jobs, or there are other key elements we should also consider? Like, okay, Jesse, what I was trying to say is there are a lot of writing aspects. There are a lot of writing aspects, but whatever you need to understand is when do I need to incorporate my critical writing? The reason as to why I am much into critical writing is because the route at which I would love us to take is I would love us to take level 7 critical writing. That is for UK papers mostly. It is always advanced and of high standard as opposed to level 3 and level 5 USA writing, where you can even write a whole paper. If there is anyone who has ever done academic writing here, maybe you can you can side with me that there are those types of writing where you will just write, and then after you are done with writing, then you take a sentence in your paragraph, you go and paste it on Google, and then you get something like you get a source or an article that says something that almost relates it with whatever you are doing, and then you take that as an in-text citation, and then you cite it that this according to this site, this source, this and this and these are saying. So I would love us to first get to understand that when you want to write, how will you go about your writing? How will you gather information to form your paragraphs? How will you gather information to help you write on whatever you want to write? Because literally, I'll take you through other aspects of writing. There are a lot of them, like formats and all that. But first, before you get to format a paper, how are you going to write this paper? I think that's quite important than getting to know that this is how to format a paper, yet you don't know how to write that paper first. I don't know if I'm clear enough, Jesse. Any other question before I continue? Did I answer your question, Jesse? I guess so. Okay, yes. Any other question before I continue? Okay, thank you, Jesse. But when I'm done with this, I'm going to take you through a few things so that you get to grasp the entire aspect of what I'm trying to say. But as I was saying, descriptive writing and critical writing, both of them are useful. But I would want you to get to understand critical writing, because when you understand the highest standard of something, then doing the lower standard of it will not be an issue. Because as you can see, descriptive writing, yes, it is necessary, but it is not sufficient enough. So you have to get to understand that if I want to do writing, I have to incorporate a lot of critical thinking and a lot of critical writing. And after you have reached that point, then doing the descriptive part of writing is not an issue, because currently the US market is full. A lot of accounts are there. People have bought accounts. You realize you have account, but the flow of jobs is very minimal. But when now you come to the UK field, there are a lot of jobs, because writing a UK paper is like doing doing software engineering, which everybody is not doing. So getting to even get into the UK writing market is a little bit uh, high stake. So you have to understand critical writing, then descriptive writing won't be a problem. Because critical writing for lower level, it helps achieve higher marks. For higher levels, it is essential even to achieve a passing marks. Like if you're doing a lower level writing, if you do it critically, you are you are assured that you will score higher marks, because when you come to a market like UK writing market, when you just do your papers descriptively, your client will get 30%, and that will be the end of you with them, because there you have to score 60% and above. So that is a pass, because when you get 70 and above, you get an A. So you have to understand that this is very essential in achieving passing marks and higher marks. So maybe you are asking yourself, now that we have gotten to understand how can I write more, you have understood critical writing. Now the next question is, how can I do a writing in a critical manner or in a critical way? I'll take you through it. Step one is reading critically. To write critically, like I said, you have to gather sources. Like for example, if you want to do a writing on the importance of exercise to human health, you have to first gather information. You have to first gather sources where you will get whatever to write. Okay, thank you, Jesse. We are tackling it now. So when you're doing writing, you have to first gather information. Like I'd said, you can know how to do any other thing in writing, but you don't know how to write in a proper manner. How will you do these other things when you cannot write properly? So now, when you're reading a text critically, you must read it several times to make sure you fully understand it. Now, this will help you in things like paraphrasing. In many occasions you will find someone is doing a paraphrasing, like you get there, you read a paper, and then you try to interchange the words, then you're saying I was paraphrasing. No, paraphrasing means you read and internalize and understand the concept of whatever you are reading, then now you put it on paper in your own words. Another thing is you must also ask questions of your text and try to find answers to. For this will help you evaluate argument. You have to ask yourself, if this person was saying this one, why? Why is it so? That way, you can even look for that why in another paper, or you can try to figure out whatever the concept the guy or the writer or the author is trying to allude in whatever they wrote. Another thing is it helps you make links with other texts you have read. Like I said, you are going to read so much. You are going to have sources based on the number of words you are told to write. Now, maybe you have to link whatever you've read here and there. You have to link them. That according to so and so, this is what I was supposed to say. However, so and so said this and that. If you read critically, it will help you to establish the relationship and the comparisons between ideas and approaches. Another thing is, remember the Bloom's taxonomy is very important. The Bloom's taxonomy is very important when it comes to critical writing, because critical writing requires you to remember, you understand, you apply, you analyze, and you create. Like this is the taxonomy is important to show what you conclude from the evidence. Like if the evidence or whatever you've read says this and that, when it comes to critical writing, you will conclude from the evidence that this and this and this is what was being uh, being asserted or alluded. And then it also helps you make comparison and establish relations. Like we've said here, when you read critically, you will be able to write critically by having the ability to link whatever you've read with other texts as you establish relations and comparisons between ideas and approaches. Another thing is it helps you consider strengths and weaknesses and causes and effects. These are the things we've noted before when it comes to critical writing. Another thing, however, when it comes to descriptive writing, this will require the taxonomy is required for it is useful to show what you know about the topic. And then it provides context and background information, and also it offers evidence to support your argument. Like for example, if I was doing an introductory part of my paper, I'll be doing more of descriptive writing, because in introduction you cannot say everything, you cannot capture everything. You're just trying to ground break on whatever you are going to tackle in the entire paper. I'm going to show you an example of what I'm trying to say here. Another thing, when it comes to Bloom's taxonomy, there is the applying, this third one here, there is the applying, there is the analysis, and there is the evaluation. When it comes to application, you have to transfer the understanding you've gained from your critical reading. Like I've said, when it comes to paraphrasing whatever a writer or an author has said in an article, you have to internalize and get to understand in your own words what the writer is trying to bring out. And then you will be able, through the critical reading, you are able to use in response to questions and assignments and projects, whatever you have been told to do in the assignment, after you've read critically, you are able to use it in trying to respond to questions or assignments or projects you are dealing with. Another thing is analysis. When it comes to analysis, it's the examination of how key points, assumptions, arguments, and evidence fit together and relate to each other and to your own research questions. Then when it comes to now the evaluation, this is the assessment of the worth of an idea in terms of its relevance to your needs. Like how how is the idea from a given source of importance or relevance to whatever I need in whatever I'm writing about, and the evidence on which it is based, potential bias, and how it relates to other ideas from other authors. Like if so and so is saying this, how is it relevant to me? And how is the evidence? Huh? How is the evidence on which it is based relevant to whatever I'm doing? And then if there is any bias or if there is any critique from elsewhere, how is that related to whatever I'm doing? And then now you relate the idea from A and B and C and get to integrate them in your work so that you get to understand. So Manu,
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
are you
hello.
here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tackle critical writing wholesomely.
Okay,
I need to take a different. I need to take a different angle as well,
okay.
so that I don't be here. Maybe be like someone playing drums and guitars to these guys. So I'm going to take a little basic aspect of it, and then I'll just be done in the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll be done. So before that, is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, so before that, if anyone has a question, maybe they can ask, then we can get to continue. If there is any question, Jesse, Ken, and don't worry, I'll share these documents with you at the right time through the admin. Yeah, I can see John Matara, I can see Barekosi, Agar Costa. Anybody with a question, maybe you can ask. But if there isn't, maybe we can continue with a different angle altogether. I just want to go the simple way. Let me just get some document here. Okay, Angela, I will share the documents later. Not now. Let me just finish with you. Noise. So how will I know the paper I'm handling is UK or USA paper? Oh yeah, it depends. Most of the accounts give US papers, but most of direct clients and some of the few accounts like academia or academic research, there are those that gives UK papers, but most of the cases are you most of UK papers use Harvard referencing or Harvard citation or writing styles, but for USA, most of them are always APA and MLA, and they are most of essays. And Ezran Kimutai is at the head. Please, you would lead me on how to start. I joined today. Yeah, we'll lead you. We'll be here, and we are going to go through this until each and every one of you understands the concept. So maybe if you allow me to ask these questions, uh, how many or how many are aware of the writing formats that we always have? The various writing formats that we always use when it comes to writing. If any of you has an idea. Okay. So what are some of the writing formats that either of you have ever uh, got to use or to understand? Okay, Angela is having then I have a question. How can one use these AI apps like AI Writer to help one in writing a good paper? Please just help understand. And then Angela is saying APA format, special Sylvia, MLA, Chicago, APA, Harvard, yeah, that's true. Alan, Harvard, yeah, that's true. Jimmy, Kioi, Chicago, that's true. Okay, Angela, you have a very good question, but I don't know how to answer you. But if you want to understand writing as much as you can, avoid AI because AI generatives are just, in a way, they are not having that human instinct, and they are more of predictive in nature. They just tend to predict what if an AI, if you say significant, they just tend to predict the next word that will follow significant. So that makes their prompts not factual. Like for example, for me at one point I was trying to use ChatGPT to generate some writing. And then these guys were like, according to so and so, he said this and this. Then going to look for these sources, I realized that this is a fake source that does not even exist. So if you can use AI to maybe find an outline of whatever you want to do, that is fine. But as much as you can, as early as now, try as much as you can to avoid the use of AI because this one will help you to even read and write critically. That's why I started with the critical writing aspect of it because, for example, if you rely so much on AI, you will be in a position like utakuwa ni, you will be like someone. I don't know how I can explain to you. I wanted to use some context or some day-to-day life context. But then if you rely on AI, it will destabilize you or it will, in a way, it will clog your mind. It is like trying to take a graduate into a quarry site to, to, to extract stones in a quarry site. You see, this one is very hard for a graduate because a graduate is expecting that after graduation I would be getting a job related to whatever I studied. So using AI is the same thing. When you rely on it, it will tamper with your reasoning and your thinking when it comes to writing. I would like to know and be better in writing. Ready to learn. Yeah, you will for sure. So guys, I wanted just to take you through APA. I wanted to just take you through APA writing format. I'm trying to locate some document.